Hello there, welcome back to My Green Pets. I am William Green. We are growing, not a whole lot of things anywhere near blooming right now, but there is one. So let's have a quick look at that. About to flower soon. This is formerly Dendrochilum, now Coelogyne tenella. Let's get a little closer and see those spikes. They just look like little millipedes or something, don't they? But those are floral bracts, and then there will be little flowers that pop out all along the length of that. Some of them are a little further along than others, but there's going to be a lot of them. It's going to be really cool. It'd be nice to have something in bloom in January. Cattleya maxima is putting out 4 growths. 3 of them are nearly done. And this guy, you can see, is already pushing a sheath. Now, if this plant does what it did last year, these growths will kind of finish up, and then they're just going to sit there until August or September, and then they'll start pushing spikes out. There is a 4th growth down here. You can see it kind of poking out the bottom of the pot there. This plant is potted in pretty much no medium, just a big plastic pot, and the rest is just kind of a root mass down there. It seems to be okay. Right next to it, Cattleya Rex. This is Mayu, the awarded clone. It's got 2 growths pushing out. On the right side there you can see, and then on the left as well. That one's just now starting to split. I really got my eye on this plant last year. I think it was April or so. It had 3 new growths. Right as the buds were pushing up into the sheaths, one of them rotted off. And I cut the rotted growth down to the rhizome, and the rhizome was black all the way through. And I cut off as much as I could, but there was still some black in there. And that's kind of the back of the plant here. So I am expecting at some point to start seeing some rotting coming through that back bulb or this one. And I feel like it's going to happen sooner or later. Might not happen at all this year. It just depends. Springtime is a really tricky time for this species because it needs steady conditions. It needs the temperatures to remain pretty steady. Warm days, cool nights all year. And in the springtime, sunlight starts to get stronger, temperatures start to get warmer. It's harder to regulate the temperatures, and the plant responds by giving me some trouble, like some rot. Also, Cycnoches cooperi has got a new growth starting down there at the bottom. That's exciting. And that's kind of pretty much on time with last year as well. Started growing in January, and by July it was pushing spikes. So that was cool. My sister-in-law got me a Amazon gift card for Christmas, and so I used it to buy some large pots from repotting.com. And I've repotted Mormodia Jumbo World into a big pot. The idea is that hopefully next year we're going to get 3 new growths, maybe even 4, and see if we can get the plant to produce even more flowers than it did this past year. You can see that the seed pod on it is still growing. Still looks okay. So gonna keep an eye on that. It's probably gonna be several months before that's ready to split and give us some seed. I just kind of packed some sphagnum moss into this pot, and then I just put chunky bark on top because I don't know, I just like the way it looks a little bit better. But it's gonna be huge this year. It was huge last year. It's gonna be even huger this year. Right behind it, we got Bulbophyllum with a new growth pushing. That's good news. New growth means new opportunities to root. You can see the bulbs are kind of shrivelly. This plant might actually benefit greatly from the same thing that I did to my Bulbophyllum medusae here, which was put the net pot into a plastic pot. Plenty of airspace around it, but just gives the plant more humidity around the roots and gives them kind of a safe zone to grow around in. They look like they're doing all right. You can see lots of branching on this root down here. And then it does have new growth. You can see a little new growth pushing out the side of that bulb. So hopefully I'm going to get several of those and have a good growing season with medusae here. The leaves are so much smaller in the tent than they were when I was able to grow this plant outside in the humid Kentucky summers. The leaves are like half the size they used to be, but the plant still seems healthy. Nice green leaves. Some of the older ones are a little bit yellowish, but overall looking pretty good. My Vanda falcata, also keeping an eye on that. Its leaves look a little yellowish to me. Looks like I feel like they should not be that yellow, but there's not really anything I can do about it. Too bright, maybe too much light. Doesn't seem like it's wintertime, but as long as as long as they're not falling off, I think they're okay. Seems to be all right. In November, I had a kind of a flash sale to get rid of some seedlings, and these 4 guys sold. These are Purpuratus and Pulcherimas from Christofferson's breeding, but I wasn't able to get them shipped out before the cold winter arrived, so we are just chilling out in the grow tent. They've already been accounted for, but if you're watching, these are your plants, and they're doing okay, putting out new leaves, getting bigger, and I'm going to ship those out as soon as the weather warms up. Here's a Cattleya dowiana rosita. This is Rogue Orchids by Self. Nice new growth pushing out here, and the roots have really, I just stuck this thing to this thing, what's it called? Cork bark in October, and it's already pretty, it's already pretty much attached, you know? I've got some yarn on there just to hold it tight against it, but once this new growth puts out some good solid roots, I think this plant will be good. I can probably take the yarn off. I don't really particularly like the way that it looks, but I'm kind of trying to hedge my bets. I have 2 siblings of this cross, this selfing of Rogue Orchids rosita, so I figured, well, I'll try one mounted, and then I also have this other one that's been potted in big chunky bark, and we'll just see which one does the best, or hopefully they'll both do great. But there's a picture, if you do an image search for Daliana rosita Rogue Orchids, you'll see a picture of Brett Baker with that plant in bloom, and it's really spectacular, and I'm super excited, especially since even for, as a selfing, I always kind of was under the impression that selfings could result in a weaker plant, but these must have gotten all the good genes, because they are really good growers. So excited about that, and also excited just in general. Here's another dowiana. These are rositas. No, these are aureas. This is Excelente by Self. This is from HBI, and just really pleased that the dowianas seem to be growing so well, and they're still little babies, but they seem a little bit more vigorous than my Rex seedlings. Historically, Rex been pretty challenging plant to grow. Here's a Rex, for example, and you can see there's these blotchy yellow patterns on the leaves. It's rooting pretty well, but I still don't feel like I have Rex culture really nailed. I'm still not super happy with everything. You know, they do okay, but I'd really like to knock it out of the park with the Rexes. Anyway, that is it for this week. Thank you guys for stopping by. I'm William Green. These are my green pets, and I will see you later. Have a great week. Bye.